So I may have went a bit overboard with the book shopping. Hey guys, I'm Caitlin and welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited about this book haul. I got so many books that I've wanted for a very long time. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, and I'm actually gonna show you guys one of my most anticipated reads like ever since it came out, and that is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I purchased the beautiful blue and it's kind of like off-white Faber and Faber UK edition. I got this from Blackwell's, which you guys recommended me, so thank you. I didn't know that they shipped to the US. I really wanted the paperback, but they didn't have it in English, so I just went with the beautiful hardback. This is definitely one of the most beautiful books that I own. Even the opening is this gorgeous like bluish indigo checkerboard, and then the actual book is a navy blue with white lettering. So the book itself is gorgeous, but this is also really special because this will be my first Sally Rooney book. I haven't read anything written by her. This is about Peter and Ivan, two brothers who are grieving the loss of their father. One of the brothers is a lawyer, the other is a chess player, and Rooney really goes in depth on their individual characters as well as their sibling relationships. This is also a multi-POV story. I don't know much more than that, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this because it is a bit chunky, but stay tuned for this one. Now, a book that's a bit similar to Intermezzo, and I really wonder if Sally Rooney took inspiration from this book because one of the brothers has the same name of Ivan, and that is the Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I actually got this a while ago. I got it right after I finished The Adolescent because I have read 4 out of 5 of Dostoevsky's major works, this one being the last one. Y'all know I love Russian lit, I love Dostoevsky, and this was a really special purchase for me. I got this gorgeous Picador, not Vintage Classics, if you know you know, Vicential edition, and I got this one because this is translated by Richard Pevere and Larissa Volokhonsky. I've pretty much been reading their translations unless there's something that they haven't translated by Dostoevsky or even Gogol and Tolstoy. So they are my translators of choice. But as I said, this is about 3 brothers instead of 2, one of which is named Ivan, who are grieving the loss of their father, but in the Brothers Karamazov, their father is murdered. So there is this murder mystery element to it, trying to figure out who did it and the lack of closure that it brought. I have the highest expectations for this book. I feel like this needs to change my life or I'm gonna have a meltdown. Another book, I don't know when I'm gonna read it. I feel like it just has to be the right time. But when it is, you better be sure I'm gonna make a video on it because this is like the culmination of everything I've ever read, and I don't know how anything else will beat this. So I'll probably wait a very long time to read it, but I am very excited. Next, another UK edition. This was also from my Blackwell's order, and it is Beloved by Toni Morrison. Okay, just take a look. And actually, I brought my US editions out here just so we could compare and contrast. So this is Sula, very glossy finish. These are both vintage classics, but like this is UK, this is US. The UK is just superior and we don't need to go any further than that. So I started reading Toni Morrison last year. I read Sula and the Bluest Eye, and I absolutely love her, and I wanted to read at least one of her books this year, and I picked Beloved because this is one of her most popular books, and I actually did try to read this a couple years ago before I was into classic lit fic, and it didn't go well. I don't think I got more than 50 pages in before putting it down. This is probably Morrison's most dark and haunting work. It's very graphic. Some classify it as a horror novel. This is about Seth, who's our main character, and we meet her in Ohio 18 years after she escapes slavery. And the main premise of this book is freedom or lack of, because even though Seth escaped slavery, she never became truly free. So I might save this for fall just because of the horror elements, but we'll see. Next, I have another repeat author that I'm excited for. This is The Sirens of Titan by Curt Vonagget. This will be my third year reading Vonagget. So I read Slaughterhouse-Five, which I absolutely loved, and then last year I read Cat's Cradle, which I didn't love that much, but this one I have high hopes for. This is actually Vonagget's second published book, which I didn't know when I bought it. I decided to pick this one because it has a lot of sci-fi elements, which I'm so into sci-fi right now, and Vonagget usually has sci-fi elements in his books, and I absolutely just love it. So this says, The Sirens of Titan is an outrageous romp through space, time, and morality. The richest, most depraved man on Earth, Malachi Constant, is offered a chance to take a space journey to distant worlds with a beautiful woman at his side. Of course, there's a catch to the invitation, and a prophetic vision about the purpose of human life that only Vonnegut has the story to tell. I actually might read this month if I'm able to get to it. So that's The Sirens of Titan. Okay, now this is kind of a random one, but I saw it was on sale on Amazon for like their spring sale, and I always want to buy it because of the cover. And then I saw the craziest, most like sensual quote from this book on Tumblr actually, and I had to buy it. It is Hopscotch by Julio Cortázar. Now, like, please, like, this is stunning. I don't even know where to begin with this book. You can actually read it two ways. You can read it straight through, or I don't even know. Or you can begin with chapter 73, and then there's a whole page. I don't know if you can see. Will it focus? That's always the question. It has the order of the second way to read it in the table of instructions. So I'm probably gonna read it straight through. I might read it twice, but she is chunky. So this is about Horatio Oliveira, and to be honest, there seems to be some crossover between him and the author, Julio Cortázar. This is about Horatio. It's about his life, his friendship, his experiences. He goes on these long soliloquies about literature, philosophy, music, particularly jazz music. And the first half of the book is pretty much like that from my understanding. Then in the second half, Horatio gets deported from France to his home country of Argentina for befriending, I guess if you want to say befriending, a mistress. So then we follow his just mental disintegration after his deportation. So I think there's just gonna be a lot of lessons in here. This is gonna be a life story. I am really intrigued by Cortázar's writing style just from that quote that I saw. And I think this is gonna take me like 10 years to read, but nonetheless, I think it's gonna be a good one. Okay, this is also a really special book, and I've said that I wanted it at least once on this channel. And that is The Possessed by Witold Gombrowicz in the Fitzcarraldo edition. Stop. And you won't even believe, so I was able to get this on sale on Amazon. I got it in like 2 days because I really thought I had to order this from the Fitzcarraldo online store because I literally have never seen these editions. I don't know if they sell them in the US or maybe just at like the really big bookstores in the cities, but I live in suburbia. So to get this on sale on Amazon made my whole life. This follows the European Gothic novel, but it's set in Poland and it's written by a Polish author. Y'all know I love Eastern European lit. I have such high expectations for this. So we actually follow this tennis coach. He's going to teach a younger girl, I think a teenager or maybe a young adult, tennis at her family's castle in the countryside, and they kind of have this love-hate relationship, this like weird romance. And there's also just like weird mystic things happening, like someone's clairvoyant, the castle seems like haunted. There's just a lot going on in this book, and it just sounds so good, so fun. I haven't read too many Gothic novels, but I think this is just gonna be so great, so fun. And even better, would you believe it if I said Jean-Paul Sartre has a review of Gombrowicz in here? Because like, these are my worlds colliding. I love reading books and just from authors that my favorite authors have read from. So Sartre says, there are also novels of another genre, false novels like Gombrowicz's that are kinds of infernal machines. There's also reviews in here from Czesław Miłosz, Susan Sontag, Milan Kundera. I'm so excited. And I'm actually realizing how many blue books that I have in here, and I may have got them because the blue in their covers is just amazing. Staying in Eastern Europe, another book that I bought a while ago. This is a collection of short stories by Tolstoy. This is The Death of Ivan Illich and Other Stories, a Vintage Classics edition. And I decided to get this because I may have another giant short story collection by Tolstoy. This is translated by Richard Pever and Larissa Volokonsky, so had to get it. And I actually started this, as you can see, she's a bit messed up. I decided, let me know why I decided this. Why did I think this was gonna be my perfect beach read on vacation to Florida? Why was I reading The Death of Ivan Illich poolside? And then why was I like, this doesn't seem right. I don't think I should have brought this book here. So I did read the first 3 stories in here. I read The Prisoner of the Caucasus, Diary of a Madman, which one of my favorite authors, Nikolai Gogol, also has a short story with that name, and The Death of Ivan Illich. So I got through the first 3, and then I was like, this is a bit too deep for where I am, what I'm doing. I'm on vacation. I don't think I should be reading a deep philosophical work right now. Death of Ivan Illich was so good, and it was just nice to be in Tolstoy's world again, to be in his mind, to see his philosophies, because I really haven't read him since I read Anna Karenina in 2023, so that was 2 years ago now. So I did put this down once I got home, but I will pick it up at some point, just not right now. So then we have Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, 2 brothers. This I bought because it was recommended to me by one of you guys, and it is a Russian sci-fi. I haven't read a Russian sci-fi yet. The only Eastern European sci-fi I've read is Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. I think that was like a 4-star book for me. I really enjoyed it, but this is my first Russian. I'm so excited. So our main character is Red Shoeheart, and he is a stalker, and not in like a human stalker type of way. So what I'm getting from this is there are like these aliens, and they take like a rest or a break in these zones, and they'll just like leave a bunch of stuff, like comparable to humans littering like beer cans, maybe your receipt, a stick of gum on the ground or whatever. And Red and these stalkers will go and collect these alien artifacts and then sell them on the black market. This is such a weird concept. I definitely have never read anything like this, and I do want to actually read it this month, so I have high expectations. There's also at the end of this edition, which seems really cool, there's an afterword by Boris Strugatsky explaining the strange history of this novel's publication in Russia. So I'm also excited to read that. Next, we have a more modern book. This is one I've been wanting to read for a very long time. This is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is a book set in Italy. This follows a female friendship from childhood to adulthood. Honestly, it's kind of giving Sula vibes, so I'm expecting to enjoy this, and I think this ends on a huge cliffhanger. This is part of a series. I really don't know too much about it otherwise, and I want to go in blind because I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but I think this will be a good book to read in between classics. The next book I have is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This is gonna be my first book set in Africa. This is set in Nigeria. I'm a little nervous for this one because our main character is just so unlikable and he's very misogynistic, and y'all know that I literally cannot read books about men who just dislike women. It puts me off so much, so I'm gonna see how this goes, but this book is kind of divided into two halves. Our main character, Okonkwo, he starts off very successful. He's this successful wrestler. He's very rich. He has multiple wives, but when the British starts to colonize, he gets exiled from his community and he's literally left with nothing, no money, no family, just himself. Also a lot about tradition versus colonization, which I think will be interesting. It's gonna be very different from what I normally read, which is super exciting. Last book. Okay, this was not on my radar at all, but then I thought about it and I was like, this is for me. It is Mallaloy by Samuel Beckett. I got this. What even is this? This is also a Faber edition. I'm just loving the Faber editions in this video. She's very shiny, very glossy. And as I said, Samuel Beckett, not on my radar. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Because if there's one thing that I love, it's an author who writes the most absurd, messiest, just what is going on type book, but it's brilliant. And that's the vibe that I'm getting from Beckett. Mallaloy is about Mallaloy, he's our main character, but then we also meet this other character, Morgan, and we're like, are they related? Are they the same person? And I think it's a lot about how people aren't really different and have a lot of the same experiences, but I don't know, I was trying to get more in depth on what this is about and I honestly couldn't, and I feel like this is a book, I don't know what it's about going into it, and at the end of it, I'm still not gonna know what happened. But I think it's gonna be great. And it has a quote on the back from this book, presumably, and I think this is really showing how this book is gonna go. Then I went back into the house and wrote, "It is midnight. The rain is beating on the windows. It was not midnight. It was not raining." I think that's all I have to say about this book. I literally have nothing else to add other than it's gonna be confusing. Okay guys, that is it for this book haul. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you've stayed till this point. Comment down below any books that you bought recently or just any recommendations you might have. I love getting recommendations from you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.